Dr. Elena Vasquez knelt beside the crystalline formation, her scanner humming quietly as it analyzed the mineral composition. The twin suns of Kepler 442b cast long shadows across the alien landscape, painting the rust-colored rocks in shades of amber and gold. 3 months into her xenogeology expedition, she had grown comfortable with the planet's rhythms, the way the wind whispered through the canyon walls, the distant calls of the hexapodal herbivores that grazed in the valleys below. She didn't notice the pair of golden eyes watching her from the ridge above. The Kythera had been tracking the strange bipedal creature for 2 full cycles now. Standing nearly 3 meters tall on powerful digitigrade legs, with retractable claws that could slice through steel and fangs that dripped with paralytic venom, it was the undisputed apex predator of this world. Its kind had ruled these canyons for millennia, hunting in packs that could bring down prey 10 times their size. But this creature was different. It moved wrong, too upright, too confident. It carried strange objects that hummed and beeped, and it seemed utterly unaware of the danger that surrounded it. The Kythera's predatory instinct screamed that something was off, but hunger overruled caution. It had been days since its last kill, and this soft-looking biped would make an easy meal. Dr. Vasquez finished her readings and stood, stretching her back as she prepared to move to the next sample site. The motion saved her life. The Kythera's leap carried it through the space where her head had been a moment before, its claws raking empty air with a sound like tearing silk. Most prey would have frozen in terror at the sight of the massive predator. The Kythera expected screaming, running, the delicious flood of fear chemicals that made the meat taste sweeter. Instead, the human did something unexpected. She smiled. "Well, hello there," Elena said, her voice steady despite the adrenaline flooding her system. "Aren't you a magnificent specimen?" The Kythera landed in a crouch, muscles coiled for another strike. Its neural implants, evolved over millions of years of hunting, struggled to process the human's reaction. Where was the fear? Where was the desperate attempt to flee? This creature stood its ground, studying the predator with the same clinical interest it had shown the rocks. Elena's hand moved slowly to her belt, not for a weapon, but for her field recorder. Humanoid predator, approximately 3 meters in height, digitigrade locomotion, probably evolved from an arboreal ancestor based on the claw structure. She spoke as if she were delivering a lecture, completely ignoring the fact that death incarnate crouched less than 5 meters away. Binocular, vision forward-facing eyes, definitely an ambush hunter. The Kythera's confusion deepened. In its experience, prey that didn't run immediately was preparing to fight. It lowered itself further, expecting the creature to bare fangs or claws, to puff itself up in a threat display. Instead, the human took a step forward. "The venom sacs are obvious from here," Elena continued, gesturing at the creature's elongated fangs. "Probably neurotoxic given the delivery system, and those claws, retractable, like a cat's, but much larger. You're perfectly adapted for this environment, aren't you?" The predator's hunting algorithms began to malfunction. Every behavioral pattern it had evolved to recognize was being violated. This creature wasn't running, wasn't fighting, wasn't even properly afraid. It was studying him. The role reversal sent ripples of uncertainty through the Kythera's mind. Elena pulled out her scanner again, this time pointing it at the predator. The device beeped cheerfully as it took readings. "Fascinating. Your metabolism must be incredibly efficient to maintain that muscle mass, and the bone density readings are off the charts." The Kythera finally found its voice, a sound like grinding granite mixed with a thunderstorm. You should be afraid," it managed in the trade tongue common to this sector. "I am death. I am the end of all things that walk this world." Elena looked up from her scanner with genuine interest. "Oh, you can speak. That's wonderful. I was hoping for some cultural exchange." She tilted her head, studying the creature with the same fascination she'd shown the mineral samples. "Death? Is that how you see yourself? That's interesting from an anthropological standpoint. I have killed 1,000 prey animals," the Kythera snarled, rising to its full height. I have torn the life from creatures you cannot imagine. My claws have 1,000? Elena interrupted, sounding impressed. That's quite a lot, though I suppose it depends on your lifespan. Are we talking about a long-term hunting career, or are you relatively young for your species? The predator's jaw worked soundlessly. Never, in all its cycles of hunting, had prey interrupted its threat display to ask about career statistics. Elena noticed the creature's confusion and felt a familiar stirring of scientific excitement. Here was a teachable moment. You know, where I come from, we had predators too. Big cats, bears, wolves. Magnificent creatures, perfectly adapted to their environments. But here's the thing about humans. She took another step forward, and for the first time the Kythera took a step back. We didn't become the dominant species on our world because we were the strongest or the fastest or had the biggest teeth. We became dominant because we're curious. Because when we see something that should terrify us, our first instinct isn't to run or fight. It's to understand. The Kythera's prey recognition systems were in complete disarray now. The small creature was advancing, and every instinct screamed that the roles had somehow reversed. It was no longer the hunter. It was being hunted by something far more dangerous than claws or venom. It was being hunted by intelligence. You see, Elena continued, pulling out another device. This one definitely a weapon. Though she held it casually. I've been studying your hunting patterns for weeks. The territorial markings, the kill sites, the way you use the canyon acoustics to disorient your prey. Brilliant work, really. But there's one thing you didn't account for. The Kythera found itself backing toward the cliff edge. It's powerful, legs trembling for the first time in its adult life. Humans don't just adapt to the apex predator, Elena said, her smile sharp as any fang. We become it. The plasma pulse dropped the Kythera in one shot, its nervous system overwhelmed by precisely calibrated energy. Elena walked over to the stunned creature and knelt beside it, scanner in hand. Don't worry, she said gently, taking readings from its biochemistry. You'll be fine, just a little neural disruption. I need some tissue samples for my research, and then I'll let you go with a nice tracking implant. You're going to help me understand this ecosystem whether you like it or not. As consciousness faded, the Kythera finally understood what it had encountered. Not prey, not even a rival predator. Something far more terrifying. A human scientist with a research grant and unlimited curiosity. In the end, it learned that there were hunters and then there were humans. And humans were always apex, they just chose when to show it.